what I just played didn't sound anything like it. Didn't sound anything like there was like classical guitar music in there. There was actually a lot of classical guitar technique in the stuff that I just played. And in today's video, that's exactly what I want to talk about, is what benefits are there from learning classical guitar in specific. So let's start off maybe with the left hand. Something that I learned from studying classical guitar is to keep your left hand relaxed. And the way that I learned that, the way that my teacher taught me, is by learning to, not push down on the fretboards in order to get that fret that you need. Like, let's say I want that 7th fret on the B string. And now there has to be a mentality shift. I'm not thinking like I have to push down in order to reach that note. I'm thinking I can let my left hand fall down on the fretboard right here, and just the weight of the finger itself is enough to accomplish that fret. So let's say I want to play the fret right here. The exercise would be just lay your finger on that fret, on that string, and then let's say it can be any fret, let's just take the 7th fret, and then you're gonna get that dead note because we're not using any force right now. We're just putting the finger on that string above the 7th fret. And now slowly and controlledly and absolutely relaxed, let the weight of your hand, of your finger, of your wrist fall down on that fretboard. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna get that 7th fret to ring, and as soon as you have enough, that's where you stop. Don't go any further. Don't do this and push down on that fret really hard, because you're just gonna not be relaxed anymore, because you use all that kinetic force, maybe engage your shoulder, and that's how you actually end up getting these tightnesses in your whole muscular system, is because you're not being relaxed like this. I mean, that's something that you can practice your entire life, and it's not something that I am finished with. I have to keep reminding myself, okay, stay relaxed, just let it happen, let the fingers drop down. So that would be the number one thing that I learned, left hand. Maybe I should get back to how you hold the classical guitar. That's something really, really important. If you look at classical guitar players, they almost never put their guitar on the right leg. They got their guitar placed on the left leg, and they got like a little something to elevate their leg up like this, the left leg, so they can place this part of the guitar on the left leg. And what that does, it actually puts the guitar in a really realistic place, and it's in a very comfortable place as well. Right here, I mean, this may look kind of cool, and it's alright to play like that. I mean, I do it all the time, but I do switch from time to time to this position right here, because now the guitar is actually much more where it would be in the center of your body, in the center axis of your body, where it would be when you're playing, standing up, with strap. Maybe it's a little bit further down, but it's still in the middle of your center line. And also, normally, if your foot is up like this, you don't need to use your hands, so you can just let the guitar rest right here. And a lot of guitar players, I see them doing that. Like, I see John 5, if you take a look at his Instagram feed, he's a lot of the time sitting on this little couch that's really low down, and he's got the guitar placed like a classical guitar player, because it's just comfortable, and it's a lot more realistic, as I said, because that's where the guitar is actually going to end up when you're playing live. And another cool thing and this may be more philosophical, but the origin of where the tone is made is right here, right? Obviously, when I pluck that string, this is where the tone is being produced. The pick hits the string. And if the guitar is set like this, classical guitar style, it's really close to your heart. So guitar is music is supposed to come from the heart. So it kind of makes sense for me that this is closer to the origin of where those tones, are being plugged, is more close to your heart. It's maybe a little bit philosophical, but it just kind of feels right for me. So that's the second point. The third point is playing legato lines. Classical guitar studying has helped me immensely on getting better at playing legato. A key thing is where you place your thumb. Now, a lot of times when I play bluesy, hard rock, metal kind of style, my thumb likes to wrap around up here, and that's because when you're doing bendings, this kind of stuff, it acts like a counter force. So when you're bending a string up, the thumb can actually push against that like a clamp, and it helps. Again, to keep it relaxed, using less force, just because it's anatomically makes it's easier. But when you're playing legato, it's a different story. You want to have a lot of room in between your hand and the fretboard to do the hammer on and pull off motion. And put your thumb back here in the center of your neck, and it's going to help you a lot. And another thing is not shift to one to the left or to the right, like this. No, you want to have it like placed almost parallel. Like imagine there's a line going straight through here like this, and you want to have this line almost parallel to the strings, because that's just, again, make it easier to do the hammer on and pull off motion. So one last thing I can think of right now, and as I said, there's tons of stuff that I could mention. I mean, I'm not even talking about the right hand right now, just left hand, is the classic vibrato. Blues and hard rock vibrato, it goes like this. So yeah, you have this motion where you're basically taking a string, and it's actually not even a real vibrato, because all you're doing with the blues vibrato is you're bending the string again and again. And when you're bending a string, you're actually you're changing the pitch of the original note that you were plugging, but you're only making it go from the original note a little bit higher, back to original, a little bit higher, back to original, and do that really fast, and then you end up with a blues vibrato, like this. And depending how wild and wide you do it, you can change, obviously, how the musicality of that vibrato, like make it really wide and wild. You can make it sound like Zakk Wylde. Make it a little bit more subtle. Now, as I said, you're just changing from the original note to a little bit higher, back and forth. The real classical vibrato, you're taking that string, and I'm going to take a wound string right now. And what I'm trying to do is actually bend the string when I'm going into this direction and making it looser, like squeezing the string. And as you can hear, when I'm squeezing that string, I'm pushing it like this, it's gonna lose tension, it's gonna have less tension, the string that's ringing from here to here in this example. And then it's gonna drop down in the pitch. And that's the real vibrato, The pitch is, you got your original your starting point pitch, and then you can make it go up a little bit, go back to the original pitch, and then make it go down a little bit, and do that really fast, or kind of fast, whatever. It's a lot more subtle than the blues vibrato, and it really takes some practice to get used to that motion of not going vertical but going horizontal to your fretboard. But integrating that classical vibrato as well as the blues vibrato is just gonna give you a wider range of color that you can play with, and it's gonna make your playing a lot more colorful and interesting to listen to, at least in my opinion. Of course, another thing in classical music, I think that might be the fifth thing, is you can play, because you're plugging basically, you're actually never using a pick. You know, doing stuff like that, I have to really get my hand to get around that fretboard, and you can play more than one melody at the same time, like trying to make your guitar sound like more than one instrument, because there's hidden voices in your chord voicings that you're doing. Like for example, I'm just playing G major, D major, and E minor. And there's basically two melodies that I'm thinking about right now. There's the bass melody that's going, and then there's the upper melody that's just going like that. So this is something that goes beyond technique. This is something musical that's going inside of your mind, is starting to think of the instrument more like a piano, where you can play more than one melody at the same time. In rock and metal or blues, we tend to only think of the guitar as a melody or a chord instrument. In classical guitar, it can be both at the same time. That's something that's a little bit hard to understand if you've never taken a look into that kind of playing. But I encourage you to do that, because there's a lot to win from taking a look at different genres, especially classical guitar. People, hope you liked this little video. Let me know if you want me to do a second part, maybe talk more about the musical influences and right hand technique. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.